Hi, beautiful. Let's talk about surrender. We talk about surrender from so many different areas. By the way, some of you guys have a question. You guys are like, what happened between you and Dr. Joe? Nothing happened. Anytime there's communities, coaches, places, and somebody filed a complaint that I might have sold Dr. Joe's meditations for commercial purposes. So I send them some meditations and I send them some back-end data that here are the meditations that I have sold. And I just cleared the issue with them. So that's all that was. It was a business issue. They thought they wanted to make sure that, Dr. Joe's community, obviously, Dr. Joe's team wants to make sure that his intellectual property is protected. I gave them everything they needed to ensure that somebody complained. People, see, with online presence, you will always have haters that want to just give you a headache, that want to just damage you in some way, grudges, things. That's what happens when a lot of people get to know you. So anyway, that's all that was. It's cleared out. I gave them what more than what they needed to satisfy their complaint that they had, which was an allegation. It was like a concern. That's what the letter that they gave me said, that it was a concern of someone that was submitted. Anyway, that's it. Let's get back to surrender. So we talk about surrender to life, surrender to yourself, but how often do we think about surrender to life's circumstances? Let me make sure I'm recording. So I look like a mess, I know. I have barely unpacked. There's a lot going on here. So it's going to be fine. A few more days, I'll be ready for Thanksgiving. It's going to be amazing. This place is beautiful. So open, so amazing. There's just lakes and ponds everywhere. I love it. Whew. We're so blessed. Remember, surrender is not you going deeper into meditations. Surrender is a space and place and perspective and view of the world from a completely non-judgmental eye. You know, one of the things that I have seen in spiritual world and spiritual communities, doesn't matter whose community, that people go from being sleepwalkers to having a very big spiritual ego, where they'll say they're enlightened or they're awakened and they're spiritually in tune with the world, but suddenly they're angry, they hate, they judge, they lie, they steal, they do all these things. And it's very strange to see that. One of the easiest way to know that you're not there yet is if you get angry. One of the easiest way to know that you have a long way to go, there's a Chinese proverb that a person that blames other people for anything. Now, this is an important point here, guys. If you blame anyone for anything, you haven't even started your spiritual journey. You have not even started. If you blame anyone for anything, remember that. Step 2. This is a Chinese proverb that a man who blames others has not even started the journey. A man that blames himself is halfway there, and a man that blames nobody has arrived. That is the awakened person. You know? I keep drumming this into you guys that all blame is a fool's game. Don't ever blame anyone for anything. You know what that does? It keeps your heart open. It keeps your field open. It keeps you in this beautiful state of being. Are there people that have perception of hate towards me? Yes. But that's because they haven't started the journey yet. Chinese proverb is not just a Chinese proverb. That goes across the East, the masters of the Far East, that if you blame anyone for anything in your life, anything you're experiencing, if you blame anyone, you have not started your spiritual journey. If you start blaming yourself, you're halfway there. And then if you blame no one, you have arrived. There's always resistance, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of cleansing that goes through communities, a little bit of drama that shows up here and there, which is just noise to me. To me, that's just noise. And then a lot of people will reach out to me that are very sincere, that are very loving, that have nearly arrived, essentially, according to the Chinese proverb. And, they'll reach out to me and they'll be like, I'm so sorry that's happening. This I was like, I don't care what's happening. None of it is real. Things just happen. And everything is a story, everything is a dream. And if you get too involved in the movie and you forget that you're actually an observer of the movie, you're not part of the movie, and you start getting fearful. You know how people get scared in the horror movies? People start crying when there's love scenes in the movies, when there's tragedy, they get hurt. The mind doesn't know the difference that whether or not you are actually going through that trauma or you're just looking at it as a mind movie. If you're watching a movie, you're essentially creating a mind movie in your mind. That's what that is. That's why watching news is so dangerous. It keeps you from surrender. It keeps you from viewing the world as it is, rather than viewing the world from the lens of the law of beliefs, right? The book of law, they call it. The Rios calls it in the four agreement book, the fifth agreement book, and the love of mastery. Mastery of love, love of mastery, mastery of love. It prevents you from just being an observer of it. So when you go into stillness as you observe life, suddenly life flows through you. Your higher mind kicks in, turns on. There's two minds you have. There's the ego mind, the limited mind, and then there's the unlimited mind. So there's the finite and infinite mind, the higher self, the oversoul mind, right? You can call it whatever you want. But there's the infinite mind that can flow through you and give you this fluid experience of life. Now, I'm watching some experiences in life where I'm moving, there's stress here, there's stress there, appearing of stress. And when I start to observe it from an empty mind, suddenly it has no effect on me. And I'm just watching life unfold. I'm watching existence unfold in front of me. Suddenly I'm so detached. And there might be other people involved in the chaos. There might be other people involved in the drama. But their point of view is a different dream than my point of view. Now, they might just be burning. They might just be angry. They might just want to hurt people. But that's not how I look at it. I can't judge you. You're having a human experience. Just because you're having a human experience that I don't agree with doesn't mean it's not correct, doesn't mean it's not valid. It is just as valid as priest living. Criminals and priests are the same in the eyes of God. The God that judges cannot be God. I'm talking from a spiritual standpoint. If you're a religious person, I don't know. You can just stop watching if you if you wish. I'm speaking from experiencing life from a state of surrender. You can't be judging people. You can't be angry. You can't be resentful. You can't be hateful. You can't be scheming to hurt people and then say, I'm a spiritually enlightened person. It doesn't work that way. You're creating bad, bad, bad karma. And you still haven't even started the spiritual process. I know people that are having unbelievable experiences in their meditations and their breath works. But then the meditation ends and they're judging people. They're angry with people. They're pointing fingers at people. But according to the oldest and wisest people in the world that have lived, that means you have not started your journey yet. It appears that you have started your journey, but you haven't even taken a first step yet. The first step of spiritual practice is non-judgmental surrender. That's how it begins. Picture someone that bothers you. Picture someone that bothers you. Picture someone you don't like. Do you wish harm on them? Do you wish to hurt them? Do you wish to shake them and awaken them? What do you want to do to them? And then ask yourself why. There's nothing in the universe that is not valid. Everything in the universe is meaningless. The moment you put a meaning on it, the moment you assign definition to it, now you are picking one side or the other side of the yin and yang, right? There's the positive density sides, and then there's the negative density sides. According to the book, The Law of One, the book series that they made in the early 80s, where there was this lady who channeled this higher entity called Ra. And there's these volumes and volumes of this. And they said there's the positive densities and then there's the negative densities. And if you want to hurt people, that's fine. You can be as evil as you want and it's valid, but it's just going to take you down. If you judge people, it's going to take you down. If you want to hurt people, it's going to take you down. If you hate someone, it's going to take you down. And it's valid, but the experience of your life is going to be very negative. But it's valid. It's not wrong to experience that. But then if you just surrender from a place of non-judgmental space and view, where no matter who does what to you, all you can do is bless them. I have an online presence. I get hate messages and emails and things all the time. I don't hate them. They're baby consciousness. All I can do is feel bad for them. I'm like, oh, poor thing. I don't know why they're choosing to go downward, but I'm not going to judge them. They're free to do that. They want to have a bad experience of life by judging me, by judging my community, by judging my staff, my family, my daughter. They're free to do so. But everything is a boomerang. It's going to multiply and come right back. Every hate, every judgment, every time you want to hurt someone, all of these things. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier. Speaking of which, I have a phone call coming up. And we were talking. I lost my train of thought. Because now I'm thinking about my phone call. See? It's not coming back. Okay, we'll end it here. I love you guys.